So what I want to talk about in this video is how I personally dealt with child abuse for about 6 years of my life, and actually ended up moving out because of that when I was just 14 years old. Because I oftentimes get asked by pastors and other people what makes me so passionate about helping pastors, about helping churches and adding to the kingdom. So I want to tell you guys a story and I think will give you a better insight about me, my thinking, and why this is something that I am so passionate about. So if you don't already know, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, my name is Greene, and what I do on this channel is I take the advice that I've gained from building a six-figure business, and I help pastors turn struggling churches into healthy, growing churches. So my story starts in 1991. I was born on January 2nd, 1991. My mom had just turned 16 in December, so she was only about 16 years old in like a month. I was born in Kokomo, Indiana, a really small town, and I've never met my dad before. So my mom, her mom, so my grandma and my grandfather were divorced. They're separated. My mom lived in California. She moved to Indiana. She was pregnant. And then she had me when she was, again, like I said, 16 years old. Never met my dad, even to this day, have not met him before. So there really wasn't a lot of expectation that people had on my life. We ended up, living with my aunt and my uncle for a majority of my childhood years. And it was crazy because there's pictures of me with my mom while she's in high school as like a junior, as like a senior. So I pretty much watched her grow up, which is weird to say, as the son. But anyways, I saw her, dating different men, which is normal as I was growing up. And when I think it was on my 10th birthday, my mom was dating this guy at the time. It was my 10th birthday. And all I really remember is I was playing PlayStation. In one of the back rooms, and they came and said, like, get your stuff or get ready. I forget exactly what he said, but I remember I said something to the effect of, like, I don't have to listen to you. You're not my dad, right? As a young kid, they were just dating. I'm like, I don't have to listen to you. Who are you? And I remember he was just like, all right. And I think at the time, I don't remember if we were living with him, but I know we were staying with him. And so after the party, I think my aunt and my uncle took me over there. And I remember he just said, hey, come to the back room. I want to talk to you. And he locked the door and just whooped my, what. I was, like I said, 9 or 10 at the time. I was in second grade, I believe. So 8 or 9 or 10, I'm not sure. I forget exactly how old it was, but I was pretty young, like, again, second grade, right? However old that is. So maybe even eight. But second grade, I remember he just threw me around the room. Lifted me up on my shirt, was punching me, throwing me around, and my mom was knocking on the door, and he had locked it. And that just scared the heck out of me. It was the first time I've ever experienced something like that. I peed my pants. I was very, 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 very scared. And so we went on to live with him, and that situation was still the same, even for little tiny things that I would do. I wasn't a bad kid, but I was very passionate. I would talk in class. So even if I would get like hey, your son's talking in class or whatever it is, I had straight A's, I had really good grades. But at any time that he felt angry towards me, that's the type of behavior that would happen. I remember even one time I was sick, and it was my first time having to swallow like a pill as a kid, and it was a gel pill. And I remember I was just scared. I was like, I don't know how to do this. And he got so mad, he shoved it in my mouth, and it just bursted, one of those gel pills. I don't know if you ever had one of those, and my whole face was numb. And it was not really good behavior, or it wasn't really a good situation. And I remember just life wasn't very fun in home at that time. Fast forward a little bit, when I was in 5th grade, my mom and this guy actually ended up getting married. So to rewind a little bit, my sister was born when I was 8 or 9. I forget if I was 8 or 9. I was in first or second grade. It was before this incident, right? She was born by a different guy, not this guy, but he had went to prison, right? So as you can see, it's not the best upbringing. I don't know my dad. My mom gets pregnant by this drug dealer. He goes to jail, and then she's with this other guy, and that's the guy that I'm talking about. That it was very physical abuse in this situation. So fast forward, they get married when I'm in 5th grade. That's still going on at this time. They bought another house that we were living at, and it was just really bad. I remember I would get in trouble for little things at school, and he would literally pull a knife out on me. I'm gonna cut your heart out, you're gonna die. There's times where he held me over the stairs, and it's like, beg for your life, I'm the only person that can save you. And there's times where, you know, he held a knife to my throat while I'm with my mom. There's a time where I got into it with one of the kids in the neighborhood. There was a little misunderstanding, and later that day, when he found out about it, he choked me. I passed out, and my mom had to. I remember I just woke up and they had their finger in my mouth trying to bring me back. It was just very, very, very unnecessary and very rough, as you can imagine. And I'm not even really going into super detail just because it's crazy. But that was my upbringing, you know, at home. But outside of home, I was always positive still, and just really trying to find my way. But it was just very tough. So they got married when I was in 5th grade. When I was in going into 7th grade, we moved to McAllen, Texas, which is like right by the border of McAllen. And while we were there, it just continued. It was so bad. It's like all the time. And there was times where I would have to skip school even. I had to skip school because I would have so many bruises on me. I have to stay home and couldn't go because the police would get called. And, you know, again, getting punched, kicked. There's times where I'm throwing up. There's scratches on me. I'm getting thrown up against the wall, thrown on tables. You know, there's a lot of times where I'd be asleep at night and he would just come in the room, lock the door, and I would just get beaten. It's a lot of the time, it's not really for any good reason. Again, I wasn't crazy. I didn't get into any trouble. I never got in trouble with the principal, with the law, or anything like that. It was really just crazy. And so I remember it was so bad that one day I was like, I'm gonna kill him. I remember it. I was just so sick of it. And I remember I got like scissors or something out the kitchen. I was sitting on the steps and I was just thinking about, I'm like, how am I gonna do this? He's in the bedroom, my mom's next to him. I don't wanna hurt my mom, but I was just gonna kill this guy. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. It was very hard to deal with at that age. And I was sitting on the steps and I was about to do it. And I remember my mom came in and was like, what are you doing? I told her, I'm like, oh, I'm glad you're out the room. Like, this is what I'm about to do. She's like Darian is my real name. She's like, Darian, you can't do that. Like, you'll go to jail. She just kind of calmed me down. And I remember I went to school, but that's how fed up I was. And I remember I was always praying to God, even before we got to Texas, when I was young, when we were in Indiana, I was like, God, please. I just felt like I was trying to pray like Jesus, and I was like, take this cup away from me. Like, please, I don't want to deal with this. Like, it's very tough. It's very hard. Please, like every night, I'm like, please, God, please don't let him come in here. Please don't let me have to deal with this. Like, I can't stand this. I can't handle this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to, like, get past this. It's too much. And so one day, I am emptying the dishwasher. And in Texas, for some reason, they put all the grades, as I can remember, they put all the grades into the computer. And then as you complete tasks, your grade moves up. So you start at a 0 and you move up, right? So your grades was only progressing, as I could remember some of the class. So I remember I was having a discussion with my mom. I was emptying the dishwasher. At this time, I'm a freshman in high school, so like 14 years old. And she was asking me about my grades, and she understood it, but my stepdad chimed in and, you know, started, well, why about this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand it. Mom gets it. Like, I'm talking to mom. And he came in there and he's like, you don't talk to me like that. Grabbed me by my shirt, threw me up against the wall. At this time, like I said, I was already very frustrated. It's like, get off me. Threw him off of me. I ran around the house, threw a chair at him, and escaped, ran outside, and I was running away. He was just chasing me for a minute. And he's like, don't ever come back, and slammed the door. And I went to the neighbor's house. I had pee on me. I was like, yo, call the police. And they were like, nah. Like, just come in, chill, be cool. Everything will be all right. So I went in there. I stayed the night. It was very embarrassing. I mean, they had kids that went to my school, and it's like I'm sleeping on your couch. So I pissed my pants, you know. But what happened was the next day I ended up staying at their house for like the whole day. And so in that morning, I think the next day, eventually my mom called me over, we went out to eat, we talked about it. So that was like Saturday. And then I remember Sunday, my mom was like, hey, we need to have a family meeting. So I went downstairs, and it's me and my mom and my stepdad just sitting there. This is like late at night. And I'm thinking she's gonna open up and say, hey, you know, this is what we want to talk about it. This is why we brought you down here. But instead she just turns to me, or she turns to my stepdad and she said, hey, Darian wants to tell you something. D wants to tell you something. And I'm just kind of caught off guard because I'm like, I didn't know what I wanted to tell him. You guys told me this is the family meeting, but now all of a sudden I got to say something. So I just said, you know, I don't feel like it's right that you always put your hands on me the way that you do. And he was like, F you, basically. Like, F you, I don't like you. I don't think you should live here. Like, I don't care what you think. He was getting all upset. And he's like, you need to leave here. And I remember I called my aunt and uncle, who I had grown up with, and I was like, hey, like, this is too much here. Can I live with you guys? I was, crying on the phone. And she's like, we'll talk about it. And so I remember my mom she was trying to talk to me after that. And I really wasn't hearing it. I was like, whatever, I'm done with you guys, man. I hate this place. Like, I always hated it around the house. It was bad. There's times where I would get in trouble, and literally I couldn't even eat. My mom, I remember one time I was eating and she just took everything and threw it away. And she's like, you can eat when we tell you to eat. So it was bad around the house. So I remember the next day I was at school, and it's crazy just thinking about this, but I remember I was at school, I was in high school, and all of a sudden towards the end of the day, someone comes in like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you got a plane to catch, you got to get ready, you got to check out all your classes. I'm like, what's going on? So like, you have a flight to Indiana in like a couple hours. So I had to go to all my teachers, sign out. All of them were very sad. I was on the basketball team, I was like the best player there. My coach was upset, my other teacher were upset, and some of my teachers were like, you can live with us, like your parents don't understand, we've seen what you've had to go through. They were just upset. But my mom picked me up. She had this big old base, like a body bag for all my stuff. And I remember I didn't want to talk to her. My sister was with her. I didn't want to talk to them. Just got on the plane, I went to Indiana. Just moved when I was 14 to go live with my aunt and uncle, just because of how bad the situation is. And I remember when I got there, it was kind of like I felt like God just gave me a second chance. And I was like, I'm not going to mess this up. I went through all of that from second grade to freshman in high school, a long time, a majority of my, young life, or whatever you call it, childhood. And I was like, I always prayed for God to take this away from me. And now he has. And I couldn't have imagined how he would have, but he did. And so I was like, I'm not going to mess up this opportunity. I'm going to find a way to make my life matter and to make an impact. So now, for nobody go crazy on my mom. Me and my mom were very cool. Now we talk almost every day. Even with my stepdad, I remember when I was like in college, my pastor was like, you need to forgive him. It's not about you. It's about him. It's not about him. It's about you. It's going to make you feel better. And so even I've gone out to eat with him. So no grudge for either one of them. It's just what happened. And I think telling my story is important. And again, so the purpose of me doing this video is because that's why I'm so passionate. I feel like I got a second chance at life, and to escape that. And there's a lot of people that wouldn't have made it that far. They would have maybe committed suicide, or they would have used that as an excuse not to do anything in their life, or you made that an excuse to be a bad husband or a bad father or a bad parent. And I was like, I got to use that as a reason why I can't do those things. I've already gone through all that. I've done that. I'm only 14 and I've gone through so much that I can't use that as an excuse to stay where I'm at. And that's why I was so passionate about changing my life. I was like, God gave me an opportunity. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm so thankful, so grateful that he took me out of that alive. And how can I repay you, God? And I think the way that I can repay him is by being fruitful as possible and impacting as many people as possible. So the reason why I'm passionate about helping pastors is because I believe that's what we're called to do, right? And there's too many things that are stopping us. Oh, well, the board doesn't want us to invest in this, or this might be too much money, or we're trying to build a building, or we're working on this, or we're working on that, and we miss it. And the whole point is we need to be impacting people. There's people like me that are going through what I went through that aren't mentally strong enough, that don't have the Bible, that don't have family. They're going to commit suicide, or they're going to go down the wrong path, and they need leaders. They need us to go reach them. And that's why I'm so passionate about, I got to use social media to reach these people. I got to do a podcast to reach them. I got to whatever I can do to save as many people, to get as many people and impact as many people's lives as possible. That's what I'm here to do. And I think it's crazy to me how we have so many churches and so many pastors, but look at the way that the world is right now. And it's like, what difference are we making? Start asking yourself, what difference is my life making in my city, in my community, in my state, in the world, period? And for me, I want to get to heaven, and I want God to say, look at, where you were from, and look at the impact you've been able to make from that. And I want God to be proud. If I'm just a little seed, I want him to be like, look how much fruit this little seed has produced, right? And that's why I'm so passionate about helping pastors. You guys have so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much experience, but I feel like sometimes we're not using it to the best of the ability. And I know a lot of you guys have a similar story as me, where it's like you were lost, right? You were lost hope in a bad situation, and now God delivered you from that, saved you from that, And it's like, how can you use that story to go impact more people? So I know for me, I'm not going to stop. It's not about signing pastors up into a program or getting them to pay. I'm going to be fruitful with my life regardless of what any pastor sign up. I'm still out here talking to people, using my social media as a positive influence, using my life as a positive influence. And that's what I want pastors to be able to do. And that's what I want to help you guys do. And that's why I think if we come together, we can really change the world, because what I went through was awful, it was terrible. And I hated that time of my life. But now I'm like, hey, I can't use that as an excuse. I got to use that as fuel. And so I just want us to be focused on the big thing. Like they say, keep the main thing the main thing. How can we impact people? You know, I went through all of that, and I prayed 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 for God to help me and to take me out of that. And I never saw how it would be possible. And now, right now, at the time recording this video, I'm in Medellin, Colombia, South America, owning my own business, multiple six-figure business, married, full-time traveling the world. Who would have thought a young black kid from Kokomo, Indiana, that never met his dad, mom was 16 years old, that went through child abuse, that did all these different things, that would be where I'm at now. And it's not just because of what I did, it's because of what God did. And to pay him back, I need to be as fruitful as possible, and I need to impact as many people as possible. And that's what I want to help other people do, especially pastors. So let's go out there and impact more people. Let's help more people. That's what we have to do. It's not about advertising. It's not about promoting churches. It's not even about really church growth. It's like, how fruitful are we being? Not our church, but us individually. Stop worrying about your board members and your members and all that. Yeah, all that stuff is great, and there's time and place for it. But how fruitful are we being as individuals? And then yes, we'll grow the church, we'll build a team, we'll do all those things, but what are we doing? We're a seed, right? God planted us as a seed. So what are we producing as a seed? And that's what I'm passionate about. So I just wanted to share that story to give you guys a better insight of where I've been from or what I came from. Sometimes people might not know, right? They might think, oh, he just grew up, you know, in a rich, or he grew up this way. Nah, I went through a lot of stuff that people would never know. And it's amazing when you think about the mindset that I have now and the life that I've been able to build. And it's only God that I'm able to be here, because a lot of people would have made this far and they would have gave up. So I'm just here to inspire you guys. I never really get tired of that, of inspiring people, uplifting people, because I believe that's what we're here to do. So I hope this story inspired you and you have a better idea of you know, where I came from again, and why I'm passionate about this. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I made it. It's amazing. It's a blessing. And maybe you're struggling right now with your own story if you're watching this. But if you believe in God and you keep pushing, there's light at the end of that tunnel. So yeah, I love you guys. I'm here for you guys. I really care about you guys. And for me, it's not about a check. It's not about promoting church. It's not about growing the biggest church. It's about us being as fruitful as possible. So if you ever need any help with that, or you want to talk about how I can maybe help you be fruitful or help you make an impact with your life as a pastor, with your platform on social media as a pastor, what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description. You can book a call with my team. We can talk to you. It's not a sales call, but we can talk to you, figure out where you're at now, where you want to go, and see if there's anything that we can do to help. So I'm just here to help. I love you guys. What you guys are doing is very, 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 very important. And from where I came from, I just don't want to quit. I don't want to give up. I want to get to heaven, and I was as fruitful as possible. I made as much impact as possible, and I want to help you do the same. And if we all come together to do that, we'll change the world. And this is coming from, you know, a guy that struggled with child abuse for 6-8 years, moved out when he was 14, never met his dad before, mom had him at 16. All the odds are against me, but we made it. And I used to watch people on TV, online, read books, and they would say you could do it too. And I just felt like they were lying after trying it for so many years, but it's true. We believe in God and we put that one step forward every single day. We have faith, we can do it too. And so if you believe that, let's connect. I hope this video was inspirational to you, was motivational to you. I hope this uplifts you. Take this video and make today a great day. Make this week a great week. Make this month a great month. Make this year a great year, you know? And just impact as many people as possible. Start asking yourself, how much impact am I making? If you have a small church, it's because you're not making enough relationships. You're not impacting enough people. So yeah, your members should share stuff and your board members should approve stuff, but what are we doing as individuals to reach more people? And if we impact more people, share our story with more people, and love on more people, God's gonna take care of the rest. So love you guys. Hope this helped. Again, that link is in the description if you want to connect. And Talk to you on the next one.